Notre Dame absolutely destroys Purdue in front of a sold-out Ross Ade Stadium, and this rivalry victory has never been sweeter.
By Samaja, inside the 20, inside the 10, he's going in! Notre Dame has scored!
Go! You will be that driving force to motivate those coaches and those players to beat Southern Cal!
Notre Dame is relevant again.
The 20, the 10, 5-5 rocket touchdown!
Notre Dame is number one!
It's a game of who's going to flinch first. We know that it won't be Notre Dame.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Landen IS. That's Logan Traylor. He's Dylan Kearns, and there goes JR. The Irish hammer the Boilers 66-7 in West Lafayette on Saturday. I usually start the show by recapping. I'm going to start the show a little bit different because apparently these fans have not had enough. The Purdue fans were chanting NIU after the game. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody. Now, just if I'm wrong at any point, interrupt me and tell me I'm wrong. The same team that lost to Northern Illinois just beat your ass by 60 in your own shithole stadium. And you have the audacity to keep chanting NIU. And these nerds took their shirts off, which please don't ever do that again if you don't have the body for it. And they painted Go Huskies on their shirts while they had the overalls hanging over the paint crew. What a joke. What a joke of a fan base that was. That was pathetic. That was really pathetic. Pathetic performance. The place did not get loud. All the noise gets right out. But anyway, that's all I got. I'll get into the regular recap because I just had to say that. That's pathetic to chant NIU after losing by 60 on your own home grass. That's embarrassing. Riley Leonard was 11 for 16 with 112 passing yards, 100 rush yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns. He is the first person with 100 plus pass yards, 100 plus rush yards, and 3 rushing touchdowns since Lamar Jackson in 2016. Dylan's shaking his head, but he did what he did. He did what he needed to do to win this game. You can cry about it. Cry Riley Leonard all you want. He won the game. Jeremiah Love with 109 yards and a touchdown. Jadarian Price with 86 yards and a touchdown. Notre Dame was not good at passing. I will say, we did have a lot of motion that helped that. However, Dylan, we didn't need to pass the ball. We beat their ass running the ball. We basically said, we're going to run the ball. If you stop it, we will pass. But we're going to run it until you stop it, Dylan. So, thoughts on the game, because I see you shaking your head and it's upsetting me early this morning.
Pop Warner Irish, boys. Pop Warner Irish. I mean, you got the job. Like, all right, cool. You ran the ball. I still don't trust our passing game in the slightest. And I mean, look, I don't hate it. They understood what worked. 10 yards of carry for almost every back we had that ran the ball. I mean, they were all over the place. Love looked good. Leonard looked good. Jadarian Price, he was 8 for 86 in a score. Like, there was a lot of great running that we did. Now, I'm starting to think of Denbrock when he took the job, once he realized how bad Leonard was, thinking, dang, I wish I could go back to LSU. Because then it makes him like, it's a hard offense to run when your quarterback cannot throw the football. 112 yards. We talked about it. JR talked about Purdue, how bad this team actually is, the worst school he's seen in the Big Ten this year, he thinks. And, I mean, we proved it to him on the run game. I do not trust this pass attack at all. Because at some point, this little Pop Warner, PAL football, police athletic league, run the ball with your quarterback 10 times a game. It's not going to work. So I'd like to see some improvement there. I'm celebrating the win, but I'm still cautious with my optimism around this football team.
Dylan, good point. I hear what you're saying, but it's Pop Warner football will not score 66 points, I will say.
They probably could against Purdue.
Okay. I think we're all kind of downplaying that we just scored 66 points. When's the last time Notre Dame even scored 50? I mean, let's be real here. When's the last time Notre Dame was up 42-0 in a game that I was alive for? We've been down 42-0.
I'll say this: Kelly never had the nuts to do it.
Right. I mean, that game's a close game under Brian Kelly. JR, Irish. Hey, put it to them Boilers, huh? Happy?
I mean, yeah, I said 37-17, 66-7. That works. It gets the job done. But let me go back to your preamble. You know, those Purdue students, they're not exactly rocket scientists over there. So that's very low hanging fruit that we're going to have to deal with and take responsibility for all year long. We're going to hear those NIU chants. The fact of the matter is, it should have been 42-0 the week before against NIU, not this week against Purdue, because Purdue is god awful. They might be the worst team in Division I. Seriously, they are that bad. You know how you get a Purdue fan off your porch, don't you?
Give them a tip for the pizza.
Yeah, you pay for the pizza. All you got to do is pay for the pizza. But let's go back to the game. Now, full disclosure, I was at a baseball tripleheader with my son all day. I did not watch the game. I did listen to it. The best thing that I can take out of that is, and we talked about this at the preview, is attitude and mentality. You throw all the X's and O's out against Purdue. You go in there and you take care of business. You be the more physical team. You be the smarter team. You be the faster. You run, you hit, all that stuff. With that said, and this is kind of what I liked about what I saw. We're going to tell you what we're going to do, and you're going to come try and stop it regardless or not. We're going to run the ball, and you can put 9, 10 in the box if you want, and you're still not going to stop it. Now, that worked against Purdue. It's not going to work moving forward with some of these other teams, and you have to have some sort of a passing threat. I'm really, really worried. Angeli looked good, but how much can you take from Angeli? He's not, I've read some of the complaints about him. He doesn't take a sack. He holds on to the ball a little too long. He's not perfect either. So this is going to be a work in progress. Let's be happy that 66-7, I think the national media and college football in general is going to hang us around that 12 spot just to make sure that we get in if we can take care of business, ratings, money, all that stuff. But 66-7, that's great. But I'm sorry, it makes me even more mad for the week from before. And I heard Freeman say, if he would have been able to see what happened against Northern Illinois, he would have been able to do something about it. It's not something that you can see, he said. Man, that's a troubling quote to me. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but if you can't have some sort of sense about that going through the week, and you're that kind of, blinded or unaware, or you can't see through the clouds to pick up on that all throughout the week and all throughout that first half, man, our guy's a work in progress at coach, just like our offense is. And I think we're just going to have to deal with it as he continues to grow.
Logan, we kind of talked about this on the car ride back home, but Marcus Freeman, that's a great statement win for him as a coach, not just Notre Dame as a team.
No, come on. That's no statement win.
Yeah.
No.
After losing to Northern Illinois coming out.
And you beat Purdue. You lose to Northern Illinois and you beat Purdue, and that's a statement win. It's a nice win, but I'm not. Come on, no.
What other coach loses to Northern Illinois and then turns around and runs up the score on Purdue the very next week, JR?
What other coaches had to do that, Landen?
Brian Kelly lost to Tulsa, USF, Texas, who finished 3-9, I believe. So, yeah. Anyway, Logan, Marcus Freeman, we talked about it. It's a good win for Marcus Freeman. I don't care what JR says. It's a good win for JR moving for it's a good win for Marcus Freeman.
I'm sorry, but beating Purdue is not a statement win.
The way he did it, I know what you're saying.
No.
Purdue is terrible. The way Marcus Freeman did it and the way last week transpired, this team could have easily folded and been in a 3-point game with Purdue, JR. I think you need to realize that this team could have folded.
Okay, well, let me put this to you. They might have done all that because of Marcus Freeman. This screw it. We're going to take matters into our own hands.
It wasn't Al Golden saying that, he was pissed off after giving up 16 points. But okay, Logan, please.
No, I like the fire. This is good.
Go ahead.
I am on the trying to be as level-headed as possible. Sorry, my voice has been out, been traveling all week. This is the first day I actually slept last night was the first day I slept in my bed in 6 days. So, excuse me. But that win, it doesn't define your team as a whole. But I am going to say this team could have just said, screw it, and go to West Lafayette on the road in front of a great crowd and do what they did last week or worse. I think, from a coaching perspective, you want your kids responding to adversity. Now, the adversity that took place was self-inflicted last week. I think we can all agree on that. You put yourself in that position, but now you got to get yourself out. What we're talking about is we're chasing consistency. A lot of the big problems that we saw either improved or were fixed. Okay. It's not very hard what Notre Dame's identity is, and it has been since I've been alive. It's run the football 20 to 30 times a game. Minimum. And get stops. And to me, if you figure out that passing game, I liked what they did for Riley. I liked what they did for Steve. We have Steve in a sample size, as JR said. And Steve missed some throws. Steve took that sack, but Riley running the way he did, he needed that. And I'm never going to wish ill will on a kid to get his spot taken, but to have a game where he can do well and build some confidence going in and has another opportunity to do so against Miami of Ohio this week. It's going to be baby steps from here on out. You lost to Northern Illinois. You're at ground level. It's how can you get better each and every day leading up until Saturday, and how do you perform on Saturday, in my opinion. There's a lot of BS that goes around, and we're an emotional fan base, and rightfully so. We have a lot of expectations, but Saturday I don't think was a bad thing. Saturday could be taken as a frustration or from a perspective of frustration with, how last week transpired, which I totally get. But to go on the road and beat Purdue, in-state rivals 66-7, to have some of your youth play that whole second half and play pretty well, especially on the defensive side. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot better about our defense when we lose all these seniors next year. And that's a sign of a coach who, is passionate about developing and wants to develop. And, Kelly, I don't think, Kelly would have put those kids in that position. I don't think we scored 66 points last Saturday. And I think that's what excites me. You could take all the bad, but when it's really bad, you don't see a lot of good. And there was a lot of good in the shithole last weekend.
Didn't BK beat New Mexico like 66-3 or something like that?
No, it was 66-17, I believe. He scored 60. I was just about to say, Brian Kelly scored 60 twice. Once against UMass, 62-20, and then against New Mexico.
But it was the most road points since 78.
Right.
Something like that.
73. But yeah, very, very, very good win. 66 points. I don't care who we're playing. I mean, God.
I am unimpressed.
Of course you are. You're always
I am unimpressed.
You're always.
It's great that we won that way, but we should win that way. I told you before. Purdue has historically been the 40-7 drubbing it always should be. They are the worst team in the Big Ten. Well, I don't know. Maybe UCLA is. Who knows? But awful. I mean, like Lou says, you're never as bad at your worst. You're never as good at your best. You're probably somewhere in between. But here's another concerning thing to me, and I don't know if you guys picked up on this. At the end of the first quarter, Riley Leonard had 11 rushes, and Jeremiah Love only had 7.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
Well, when he drops back, he also has to scramble. That counts as a rush. So
no, he chooses to scramble at least half of those times.
I agree.
There are men that are open, and he does not throw them the ball.
Every single time.
We got problems, you guys. We got problems.
He looks at his first read. If it's not there, he feels the pressure, starts to run. He doesn't even look at the second guy. If he did, maybe he completes some passes, and maybe you beat NIU before forcing that ball to two mother effing defenders.
Yeah, Riley Leonard was our leading rusher again in carries.
Man, all right. On the defensive side of things, since we're still talking about Northern Illinois, Notre Dame picked off Hudson Card twice, including a 34-yard pick six for Boubacar Traore. Wow, the defense came to play with a vengeance. You would act like, with the way Al Golden's defense played, you would almost think that they gave up 40 against Northern Illinois. Notre Dame's defense had 4 sacks, 124 pass yards allowed, just 38 rush yards. That is, I mean, they played with a vengeance in West Lafayette. My offensive player of the game, I'm going to get hammered for it. It's Riley Leonard. I don't care. It's Riley Leonard. 3 rushing touchdowns. Huh?
Why would you get hammered for that?
Because you're a certified Riley Leonard hater, and so is Dylan.
I'm not a hater, but I don't think you are our leading rusher.
Yes, you are.
I'm not a hater. I don't
Why
think
are you
our leading rusher.
Why excuse my language. Why are you sitting here bitching after a 66-7 victory when our quarterback ran for 3 touchdowns?
Because we're 2-1 and we're ranked 17th.
Okay, you can't change that. We can't change what happened. We can change moving forward, and I liked what I saw moving forward. I did. I liked what I saw moving forward.
Okay.
I did. 3 rushing touchdowns from a quarterback. When's the last time you saw that?
That's great against Purdue.
Right. To my point earlier, I'm on JR's side 100% here.
Of course you are.
No, it's because we're realists. And I'm looking at this football team, and I'm saying, like, it only works so far. I have yet to see any competence from the passing game. And we're 3 weeks. We're almost into freaking October. And we have 0 life with our passing game. It scares me. It scares the living crap out of me going forward. Because you're going to keep running. It's easy to defend against a freaking quarterback that runs the ball every single time. Or run, like, you know it's going to come. And against teams that are prepared that can stop that, they will. It's not like we know what's going to happen. They're going to stack the box. There's going to be 10 in the box the whole game. And to your credit, Landon, you mentioned that you said that's how Purdue couldn't stop it. Well, there's going to be teams that can tackle, that can stop the run, that are going to be able to stop it. And you're going to force Riley Leonard to throw the ball, which, as a quarterback, that should be one of your strengths, but it's a weakness for ours.
Let's not forget about the fragility of our quarterback as well.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, granted, however, I liked what I saw from the passing game a little bit. We didn't need to throw the ball 30, 40 times this game, Dylan. We rolled out Mitchell Evans. We rolled out Bo Collins. We rolled out Jaden Greathouse. A lot of pre-snap motion. I'm fine with some pre-snap motion. Listen, if that's what we need to do to win games, I'm all for it. If that's how he throws the ball, I'm all for it. These little checkdowns, tackle. Mitch Evans couldn't be brought down. Went right through the defense. Greathouse, great speed, ran right past him. Bo Collins, great speed, ran right past him.
In the micro, yeah. But in the macro, when we start getting into, what's really the nitty gritty, we're not going to be able to do that. We're going to have to be able to generate some bigger plays with the ball in the air.
I disagree. I think if we can get 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, these little small plays, take long drives down the field, score a touchdown, put our defense back on the field, we're fine. We're fine. We don't need a home run every single play. Every single drive doesn't need to be a home run.
That's not what we're saying. We're not need a home run every play.
Apparently you guys are bad for the
some ability and some semblance of a passing game. Our starting quarterback is 3 games in and he still doesn't have a passing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Our backup has 1.
He's got 2.
2?
Yeah,
2.
Start him.
2.
Start him. Defense.
Well, I don't know, but 2. I mean, coming off of last week, you weren't far off of that take either. But now all of a sudden we're back to Riley Leonard.
I like how he responded
I've
to
at
adversity.
least been consistent that I'm not so sure our best quarterback is on the field all the time. I'm consistent with that.
You said that in the season preview.
I like how he responded to the adversity.
Sure, I like how we all responded to the adversity he probably shouldn't have never faced to begin with. But
Riley
let's
Leonard,
not worry about that. We'll move ahead.
Riley Leonard is on social media. He definitely has seen the atrocious stuff that has been said about him, that he has been tagged in on social.
I'm sorry, that's not atrocious. I'm not being atrocious as the start. When you're the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, you're going to get some of that criticism. Well deserved.
No, I'm not talking about any criticism. I'm talking about blatant FUs and you suck.
Okay, well, that's not me, so don't lump me into that.
I'm not. I know. I'm not.
We're holding the guy accountable for not doing his job.
I'm not lumping you into that. What I'm saying is I like how he responded to the adversity. Defensive player of the game is Kennedy Urlacher, in my opinion, from the defensive side.
You go there.
He really came out with his hair on fire on Saturday. As a backup, he popped them Boilermakers. And you know me, I'm a Packers guy. That name Urlacher doesn't ring a good bell in my name or with that in my mouth. But Urlacher played with his hair on fire. I like what I saw from that second group. They held Purdue scoreless. They won it 24-0 in that second half when they started. Just a fantastic second group. I look forward to the future. Of course, you tell Purdue fans that. They say, wait till next year at your place. Punting. I do want to touch on punting because what I saw on Saturday was not too good. 37.5 yards per punt with 0 wind in that stadium on Saturday. Guys, I don't know about you, but that wind in South Bend starts to swirl. That wind in New York starts to swirl. I mean, we got some issues on the special teams side of things. I think the special teams coordinator might need to have a conversation with his punter because something's got to change because it's going to hurt us in the long run. There's going to be a game, guaranteed. Mark my words. There is going to be a game where we're going to need to flip the field for great field position, and I do not have faith that our punter can do that, JR.
Yeah, Dylan will tell you. Look what the punter did yesterday in the Browns-Jags game. I mean, he basically won them the game. Did he not, Dylan?
That was the play. Once he pinned him at the 2, but
he pinned him? I didn't watch the game. I was watching the Packers beat the Colts.
Corner kick at the one, right at the 1. Browns got a safety to move it to a 5-point lead. Isn't this the kid from Australia? He's like 6'6" and
never played football before. Yes.
Yeah.
Rendell.
Did he? How many times did we punt Saturday?
4.
Did he change the style of punt every time?
Still that rugby kick.
Because I've seen.
It was the rugby type of punt where he steps forward and boots it.
Yeah, well, last week he did a couple little side shuffle drop kick.
Mm-hmm. That's what he did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Special teams, gotta have them. Complimentary football. You can get away with it against Purdue, but we got another MAC school coming in next week. Miami Wild.
Better duck.
Oh, that's what you're doing. Yeah, special teams, special plays, special players. Yeah, special teams do matter. I'll say it. They matter. Field goals, kickoffs. Not so much in the NFL for kickoffs because that's just atrocious. Speaking of, Logan, how about them Bears? No.
No.
How did he look last night?
3 years, we still can't block anybody.
He's running around and throwing the ball in the air.
He got beat up. It was like watching Justin last year. I mean, the hits he took last night were just how are you getting up?
Jeez.
Great respect for the finger Peyton screwball last night. His ass took a beating.
Finger Peyton.
Almost like the Notre Dame USC beating he took. I'll be Mr. Negative here. Jeremiah Love needs the ball more. I believe he had 8 or 9 carries. He was explosive on those carries. However, he needs the ball more. If they're not going to stop Jeremiah Love, give him the ball. I like what I've seen from Jeremiah Love all year. I mean, he won us the Texas A&M game. Texas A&M game. He put us in a position to win the Northern Illinois game, except he got the ball once after giving us the lead. He started off the beatdown by the of the Boilers last week. Jeremiah Love, Dylan, needs to get the ball more.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen he's been explosive every single time he touches it. He's fast.
Exactly.
Like,
and he's big.
That's your home run hitter on offense. Like, move him around. Like, it's like I'm beating the drum. Purdue slander there. But like, I'm beating the same drum here. Like, check the ball down. Let's get him involved in the passing game. I want to see more of that out of him. Like, check it down. He did have about 2 catches in the game last week, but I'm saying, like, utilize the screen, maybe a halfback wheel. Like, get that man in space and give him the ball. All these NFL teams that have very fast running backs. You look at like a Devon Achane. You look at players that have fast running backs, or teams that have fast running backs in the NFL. They get the ball to him and they catch the ball. Alvin Kamara. Like, these guys are getting the ball in space, utilizing their best weapon, and go. And I wish that we would utilize that more. But regardless, whether he's running it or catching it, he needs more work.
Yes, he does. I will touch on injuries a little bit. Center Ashton Craig went down, did not return. He was actually walking on crutches with a walking boot after he came back out on the field to the sidelines. Defensive end Jordan Botello had to go out on a cart, and right guard Billy Scrouth his injury did not look good either. I think Notre Dame lost 2 starters. We might have lost 3 in that game on Saturday. So not good from an injury standpoint. Already losing 2 offensive linemen from a already young and inexperienced offensive line moving forward, JR.
So on the broadcast on the radio, they were very complimentary of both of the elder statesmen who stepped in to kind of ship.
Mm-hmm. Rocco Spindler.
Yeah. Rocco and Kuglin, right?
Rocco and Kuglin, yeah.
Oh, Rocco Spindler and Pat Coog.
Right.
Yeah, they both came in and they did a fairly nice job from what they were saying on the broadcast.
Both seniors, correct?
But yeah, that's where I was going with it. You know, a little bit of stability, maybe a little bit more maturity, can settle things down and some rough patches there. It's nice to have older guys, some veterans maybe coming in as opposed to another young guy. So I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I will.
A little bit of depth.
From the center position, the ball looked to be a little bit lofted after Craig went down instead of just a line drive to the quarterback. It almost hung up a little bit too long for my liking. I feel like that might come back to bite us a little bit. We'll see. Moving forward, though, there are no excuses moving forward. I don't care. I'm not saying every game should be 66-7, but never again should we lose 16-14. We know what we're capable of. We know we can score the ball now. We know we know what we are. I think at this point in the season, we know what we are. There is no excuses going forward, Logan.
I agree with you. And, you know, looking at our schedule, you know, it wouldn't be far-fetched to say we should finish top 10, top 15 in the country in scoring. And we should see a lot of what we saw at Purdue translate this weekend. Mm-hmm. And then it's Louisville next, correct?
Miami and Louisville, yep.
Yep, no bye. So you're going in, you know, Louisville at home, and you got to get some carryover. You got to get the consistency, and I think that's what this team is chasing, and you know, has to get established. And Freeman, if he wants a job, has to get it. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. You know, defensively, I think we're fine. You know, when your defensive coordinator is, you know, shares some emotion about giving up 16 points, I think you're in a really good spot there. I don't think Golden's ever, I don't remember the last time we were angry with him, but, you know, offensively, you know, I'll go back to Dylan's point, you know, getting your players in positions to, 1, be successful, but 2, to make plays. You know, getting Price in space, you know, Bo Collins. But, you know, when you see our tight ends, Flanagan, Eli, and Mitch, they combined for 7 catches, for about 100 yards. That's good. You especially with what we want to do, getting your tight ends involved and doing that. I want to see more of that. And if that means that we're running 20 RPOs a game offensively, and if we're having to duck down passes for 5 or 6 yards, I'm completely okay with that. At this point, you got to win.
Mhm.
And the games like this weekend, you got to blow them out, because that 12 spot's not guaranteed.
Correct.
And if we don't start blowing teams out and make a statement, could hurt us. Really could.
It very well could. Before we get out of here with 5 minutes left, I want to touch on week 3 of college football, because it wouldn't be a recap if we didn't touch on what happened around the country as well. Georgia survives Kentucky as Mark Stoops punts the ball at the 50-yard line after his kicker was 4 for 4 on the day. Logan, I never want to hear Mark Stoops.
I love him, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's pathetic. I mean, yeah.
What do you mean? You trust your defense?
Yeah. Kicker was 4 for 4 with a long of almost 50, but let's punt the ball away. Give it to the best team in the country, and let them run the clock out. That's great. Great, Stoops. Coach of the year right there. Texas loses Quinn Ewers en route to a win against UTSA. Didn't look good on when I saw the replay. However, it appears he is going to be just okay, and they probably took him out for more of a precautionary reasoning because they were playing UTSA. Arch Manning, it's Manning time, baby. He looked really good. Bama rolls Wisconsin in Madison 42-10. Fickle's got issues. I don't care if they were playing Alabama. They got issues there in Madison. Their offense has been atrocious against Western Michigan and their other opponent, and now again against Alabama. Florida State, Free Shoe U, is 0-3 after losing 20-12 to Mike Norvell's former team, the Memphis Tigers. Whew.
Down the fire alarm.
Yeah, they're going nuts. I mean, maybe instead of whining and moaning about not being in the 4-team college football playoff, should have been focused on 24. I mean, my goodness, this is a bad team.
Did D and DJ Youngalele?
DJ, you need to get a job.
I did him 35-0. That when he was at Clemson, he's never been the same since.
I mean, this is bad. This is a bad football team. LSU wins in controversy at South Carolina. South Carolina got a pick 6 called back because the quarterback for LSU got knocked down after he threw the interception. That was after the interception had occurred, though. So technically, it should have been after the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, whatever you called it, move the ball back. But South Carolina gets to keep it. Most likely runs the clock out. Hey, BK, have it your way. They're not going to fire him now. He's 2-1. Tough schedule moving forward for the Tigers. Michigan wins 28-18. They pulled their starting quarterback after 3 interceptions and no touchdowns. What's going on up there in Cheeseburger Paradise?
They got some issues too.
What?
They got some issues.
Yeah, they got some issues too, but I think they figured them out. I don't see this team dropping any that they're not supposed
Hoosiers gonna get them.
Okay. Cincinnati beats Miami, Ohio. The Redhawks are 0-2 coming into South Bend. Missouri edges BC in the JR Bowl 27-21. Oregon dominates the Civil War. I was wrong on that cover. 49-14. A&M wins by 13 in the Swamp, and Billy Napier just signed his resignation in that ball game. That was terrible. He is done at Florida, I'll tell you that. Washington State beats Washington by 5 in the Seahawks Stadium. Pitt is 3-0 after beating West Virginia, who is also in a lot of trouble, standing at 1-2 in the early season. West Virginia does not look good to start the season, I'll tell you that. Toledo blows out Mississippi State 41-17 in Starksville. We are not the only ones, folks. IU is 3-0 after beating UCLA. Congratulations, you have played all teams with losing records. UCF down 31-13, comes back and beats TCU 35-34 for the largest comeback win in UCF history. And for TCU, ever since that Georgia loss to the national title, they have just not been the same at all. Kansas State dominates Arizona on Friday, and UNLV upsets Kansas in Lawrence, as that is what happened around the college football world in week 3. The full crew is back tomorrow to preview Marcus Freeman's kryptonite, a MAC school, Miami of Ohio. Until then, go Irish, and we will see you tomorrow.